Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Check this out. This here is about Lil Boosie, so you understand that he paid $600,000 to some lobbyists to try and get him a presidential pardon. He wanted $300,000 back. He took it to the court. We would have never known nothing about it. Now, back in January 2026, he was sentenced to 3 years supervised release, 300 hours of community service, and $50,000 fine rather than an additional imprisonment. The federal probation officers, right, they later shout revocation, and they're trying to give him 18 months in jail for smacking somebody allegedly with a hookah in a club, right? So that's where we at. Sit back. I'm going to show you Boosie tried to buy a presidential pardon. It's a fact. He's filed in court. And I want you to think about, what do you think Boosie was purchasing? Was he purchasing a presidential pardon to clear his record? Or was he purchasing a presidential pardon for a peace of mind? Let's ride. Keep it going, keep it going. Hit the like button, hit the like button. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Mecca what? Mecca audio, Mecca what? Mecca audio, Mecca what? Mecca audio, Mecca what? Mecca audio. I like the way it's going down. Yo, we get ready to ride real quick, right? Now, I want you to understand that Boosie wasn't just buying a pardon. He was buying a peace of mind. Now, I want you to understand that. Let me tell y'all what everybody else is missing, right? Because they're all talking about the 600,000, such and such, but Boosie didn't reportedly put up $600,000 just to clean some words off a piece of paper. He wasn't just, paying because he wanted, a prettier background check. Let's get that right, right? He wasn't trying to impress corporate America, and he wasn't thinking like a regular person, trying to restore their reputation. Boosie was trying to purchase something money normally can't buy. He was trying to purchase one peaceful night of sleep. He just wanted one peaceful night of sleep. I'm going to explain that to you. One morning where he could wake up and not wonder whether the government was still watching him. One ride through the city without every police light making his chest tighten. You know, you ride down the street and you see the police lights, even if they're on the other side of the road with a whole divider in front of you, your chest tighten because you know you're not all the way free. One phone call from his lawyer that didn't make his mind immediately say, what happened now? Because after you have already been to prison, supervised release don't always feel like freedom. You know, you free until you go home, but you're on supervised release, and a normal person would think they free. But then now, it don't work that way. Sometimes it feels like the prison gates open, but the chains came home with you. Boosie wasn't only paying lobbyists to reach Donald Trump. He was paying them to reach inside his mind and remove the fear that he could be sent back to prison. And that's where I give you my jewel. But before I go there, I want you to understand what I'm saying. I mean, when you're on some type of paper and you ride down the highway or you ride down a local street and you see a police car, your heart tightens. You get out of breath. You're like, oh God, please don't let him stop me. I don't care, the biggest atheist, that's when they call on God to save them. And the jewel in that is, a man could be standing outside the prison and still be mentally living inside the cell. And first of all, I want to thank all y'all for reporting to class. This is the Hood Professor We're in class right now. Get out your pens, your pads, and your keypads, definitely. Now you trolls and rat bastards get to use the keypad, but keep it respectable. I want you to answer this question. Was Boosie paying for pardon, or was he paying for the first real feeling of freedom he had had in years to get his record expunged? Give me a verdict on that in the comments. Let's talk about the supervised release and complete freedom. Because people hear, oh, such and such got out. But they forget that they attached to supervised release. A lot of people hear supervised release and think the case is over. They think you're home, you're making money, you're traveling, you're performing. So everything must be good. But the prison living under supervision understands the pressure differently. You're free, but somebody else still has authority over pieces of your life. Where you travel can matter. Where you're around, like who you're around could matter. What happens during an argument can matter. What people write inside a report can matter. Even something you believe is a misunderstanding can place you back in front of the judge. And that's where the anxiety begins. Let me lean in for a minute. Because Boosie knows one new accusation can create two battles. First, he may have to fight the new charge. Then he may have to fight a federal supervision release revocation hearing. Two courtrooms, two dangers, two different ways to lose his freedom. And even when you believe you're innocent, you still have to survive the process. Lawyers, hearings, court dates, money, sleepless nights. That pressure can turn your own home into another kind of holding cell. Remember when you see the bell, know when you rewind the tape, you go back to the question and answer the question, because I'm letting you know now, I've been on YouTube for a minute. I got my little $100,000 plaque, and this is how I feel about it. Just so you understand, right? You have to hit the like, the share, the emoji. You have to hit all that in order to get this message out. Because they don't want this out. Now, the jewel in this is freedom with conditions can become fear with permission. Drop a jewel. Can a person truly feel free when one allegation can place their whole life back before a judge? Every siren starts sounding personal. You hear a siren and you know it's coming for you. Picture Boosie riding through the city at night. Music playing, people laughing, everybody looking normal. Then he hears sirens. His eyes move towards the mirror, his heart speeds up, he looks behind him. He tells himself, this ain't for me. But his body doesn't believe him. Because when you've lived through incarceration, the body remembers what the mouth tries to forget. The handcuffs, the holding cell, the concrete, the steel doors, the judge looking down, the prosecutor asking for time, the family sitting behind you trying not to break. That siren might pass Boosie's car, but the fear stays inside the vehicle. Now imagine living like that for 3 years. Every disagreement becomes dangerous. Every trip has to be considered. Every person around you has the ability to create a situation that you don't want to be in. Every lawyer calls feel like bad news before the lawyer even speaks. That's not peace. That's a man walking through life with an invisible alarm inside his chest. Now, let me ask you a question about prison trauma. Prison trauma doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it enters quietly. Every time you hear a siren, let me hear your verdict on this, Ron. Can someone leave prison physically while their nervous system remains locked up? The call from the lawyer. This is what a call from the lawyer feels like to someone in Boosie's place. Can't speak for Boosie, I can speak for me because I was in this place. Like I said, I served 26 years in prison. They hunted me, they did all this before they bagged me. There's a particular kind of fear that comes with seeing your lawyer's name appear on your phone. Remember, people may think, maybe it's an update, something simple. Maybe I want a lawsuit. But someone with Boosie's history may think, what went wrong? Did they file something? Did probation say something? Is there another warrant? Do I have to appear in court? Are they trying to send me back? Before the lawyer says, hello, Boosie reminds himself, maybe already be 10 steps ahead. His mind is 10 steps ahead. He's already imagining the hearing, already imagining the judge, already imagining prosecutors bringing up his history, already imagining headlines saying he's going back, already imagining telling his children, already imagining walking away from his house, his career, his family. That's the psychological cell. The punishment begins in your imagination before the judge enters the decision. And when the phone call ends, everybody around Boosie may go back to their normal life. But Boosie still has to sit alone with what he just heard. The celebrity disappears. The jewelry means nothing. The followers can't help him. It's just Torrance Hatch sitting with the possibility that freedom can be taken away. If any of you know Torrance Hatch, send him this and tell him to dispute what I'm saying. I challenge you to have him dispute what I'm saying, because I too was there being hunted by the police. Now, the hardest court hearing may be the one your mind conducts every night before the real hearing begins. I want to thank you again for reporting to class. I might keep you a little over. I'm going to try and keep it on point, 30 minutes, but thank you for reporting to class. What creates more pressure, the sentence itself, or waiting to find out whether the sentence is coming? Why was it $600,000? May have felt cheap. $600,000 sounds like an unbelievable amount of money. And most people hear that number and immediately focus on the loss. They say, how could someone pay that much? But they're measuring the money without measuring the fear that he's going through. Ask somebody who has already experienced prison what they would pay to guarantee they never had to return. And that's what I'm here to tell you. That's priceless. Anybody who has heard the door locked from the wrong side, ask somebody who has watched years disappear from inside a concrete box. Ask them what peace is worth. Ask them what one night of real sleep is worth. Ask them what it's worth to stop checking the rear view mirror while you're driving down the street, and when you get to a corner, you look all ways like you was taught, but you're not looking to be safe. You're looking not to be captured. So you look to see if there's a police to the left, to the right, or maybe straight ahead of you. That determines what direction you're going, when you already know what direction you want to go in. But now if you see the police, you know you have to go behind them, because you never want them in front of you. Why you on paper? Ask them, what is it worth? to stop checking the rearview mirror. Ask them what it's worth to know one accusation can't activate an old sentence. Now $600,000 starts looking different. To us, the money may represent a mansion. To Boosie, may have represented distance from a prison cell. It may have represented getting federal supervision off his back. It may have represented never again asking permission to travel. It may again, never again wondering whether somebody else's actions could become his violation. Like being in a car with somebody smoking a joint or having a gun. Even if they claim it, you still was in possession of someone with a gun. Never again hearing words, petition to revoke supervised release. Those are the words he never want to hear. Fear can make a high price look reasonable. $600,000 to Boosie is reasonable. Just get this trauma off my back. Especially when the product being sold is your freedom. The jewel in that, because we riding tonight. Let's go. Never judge what a frightened man will pay until you understand what he believes is chasing him. What do you believe Boosie feel is chasing him? Drop your jewel in the comment. Is $600,000 too much when a man believes his freedom is at stake? Talk to me. Let's talk about the pardon that never came. The pardon that brought him into the courtroom where some would say he snitched because he went to the court. Now imagine believing the pardon may actually happen. You paid the money. People are making phone calls. Names are being mentioned. You're being told progress is being made. Maybe you start following yourself to breathe differently. You're allowing yourself, now I'm going to breathe differently. I'm going to be free in a minute. Maybe you imagine the supervision ending. Maybe you picture the judge's authority finally being removed from your future. Maybe for the first time you believe this long legal cloud is about to move away. Then the pardon doesn't come. No announcement, no signature, no final relief. Just more waiting, more phone calls, more explanations, more uncertainty. And now Boosie is reportedly wants half of that money back. But the deeper loss may not be the $300,000 that he's trying to regain. The deeper loss may be the peace of temporary believing that freedom was coming. Now, if I was the lawyer, right? Let's ride. Now, if I was the lawyer, this is what I'll tell Boosie, right? I said, yo, you slept good from you gave me that money until now that you got this disagreement, right? All right, well, you paid me $600,000 so you could sleep good. I gave you the hope you purchased. Now, like I said, the deeper loss may be the peace he temporarily believed was coming. So he paid for that. The lawyers paid. When somebody sells a frightened person hope and that hope disappears, the anxiety can return twice as hard because now you're still under supervision and you're wondering whether the people you trusted ever had the power they claimed they had. We ride. Let's go. Losing money may hurt, but losing hope after you finally allowed yourself to believe can break something deeper. Let me hear your verdict in the comments. What would bother you more, losing the money or believing your freedom was secured when it really wasn't? Make sure you cop the book of Raw and Harlem so you can see the hell that I've been through and why I'm back trying to save you. All right, let's go. Now, fame can't protect you from federal pressure. Boosie is famous. Boosie has money. Boosie has supporters. Boosie can reach millions of people with his post. But none of that automatically removes federal supervision. The judge doesn't care how many shows you sold out. Probation conditions don't disappear because people remove you. The courtroom doesn't measure freedom by followers. And when a revocation petition is filed, the celebrity can quickly become a defendant again. They see the money after prison. They see the cars after prison. They see the jewelry after prison. They see the crowds cheering. But they don't see the emails to probation. They don't see the travel requests. They don't see the lawyer's bills. They don't see the anxiety before court. They don't see the fear that one new situation can undo everything. Like the hookah situation he have in the club. Boosie may look completely free from the outside, but inside he may still feel like the government has a hand on the back of his collar. Come here. You belong to me. Fame can change how the world sees you. It cannot automatically change how the justice systems control you. Again, I want to thank you for reporting to class. We're at 22 minutes. Thank you. I'm going to try and keep it under 30. If you feel it should be longer, put it in the comments. If you feel 30 is good or 20 is better, put it in the comments. Does money create freedom, or does it only make supervised pressure more comfortable? Now, the second courtroom, right? Let's talk about the next courtroom right now, right? Here's the part young people need to understand. When you're on supervised release, a new accusation doesn't always stay inside one courtroom. You may have to fight the new criminal case, but federal probation can also say the alleged conduct violated your release. That creates a separate revocation process. The new court may be asking, did he commit a new offense? The federal court may be asking, did he violate the conditions we placed him on for his freedom? That means one incident could create two sets of consequences. Two attorneys, two judges, two prosecutors, two different legal standards, two separate threats to your freedom. Even when you dispute the allegations, you still have to answer them. You still have to appear. You still have to pay lawyers. You still have to live with the uncertainty. That may be what Boosie was really trying to escape. Not simply the condition written behind his name. He may have been trying to destroy the bridge that could carry him from a new accusation back into a federal prison cell. Just so you understand, we riding. I feel like riding. Y'all want to ride? Let's get the intro going. All right, I'm back. Let's ride. You done riding? Let's keep it going. All right. Now, when you're under supervision, one bad situation can cause and cast two shadows. Drop a jewel in the comments and thank you for showing up to the class. Do people really understand that supervised release can turn one accusation into two separate legal battles? That's what I'm here to tell the youth is about. So don't get caught up thinking, I'm on probation, I'm good. No, you anchored to the system. Boosie may be tired of being Boosie the defendant. There comes a point, Ron. when a man gets tired. Tired of lawyers, tired of courts, tired of explaining himself, tired of legal documents, tired of seeing his government name written across another filing. Tired of people debating whether he's going back to prison. Tired of his family asking, what's going on? Tired of pretending he isn't worried. Because Boosie, the entertainer, has to look confident. He has to perform. He has to laugh. He has to post. He has to appear strong. But Torrance Hatch still has to go home with Torrance Hatch. He has to lie down when the cameras turn off. He has to sit with the possibilities. He has to ask himself whether his past is ever going to release him. And maybe that's the real reason he wanted to pardon so badly. Maybe he wasn't just trying to become Boosie the pardon rapper. Maybe he was trying to stop being Torrance Hatch, the federal defendant. Maybe he wanted one chapter of his life to finally end without another footnote. You know we ride. All right, so we on here. I'm tired of this. We tired of this. We tired of this. All right, we tired of this. We tired of this. Let's get this thing moving. Now, just so that you can understand where we at, don't sit here and think that for 1 second, this is a joke. I just wanted to play this and take myself off the screen for a second before I ask you this, Jewel. Believe every public personality, right? Behind every public personality is a private person who still has to carry the consequences home for his actions. Let me hear your verdict in the comments on this. Can a man truly begin a new life when the government keeps reopening chapters from the old one? What do you think those chapters are from the old one? Put it in the comments. The darkest part, right? Now, this is where I like to ride. The darkest part, the fear of him going back to prison. People who have never been incarcerated may not understand the fear returning. The first time you may not fully know what's coming, but going back is different. You already know the smell, you already know the noise, you already know how slowly the days can move. You already know what it feels like when the phone calls end, when you run out of money to use the phone call. You already know how family sounds when they try not to cry. You already know how holidays feel behind the wall. You already know what it means to watch life continue without you. Boosie doesn't have to imagine prison. He remembers it. That makes every threat of returning more valid. When federal officers reportedly seek privilege time for an alleged violation, he don't hear an abstract number. He sees the bunk. He hears the keys. He hears the doors closing. He imagines handling his belongings all over again. He imagines taking off his own clothes and putting government clothes back on. He imagines his family leaving the courthouse while he exits through the other door. That is what may be hiding behind the pardon money. Not vanity, not image, fear. Raw, experienced fear from a man who already knows exactly what he could lose. I'm tired. We at the 30 minutes. We supposed to be ending class. Sorry to keep you over. So I'm going to speed this up. The person, right? The person most afraid of prison may not be the person who has never been there. It may be the person who remembers every second of it. And again, thank you for reporting to class, but put your verdict in the comments. Is returning to prison psychologically worse when you already know exactly what's waiting for you? Now, we're going to ride in accountability. You see, all right, relax, y'all. Let me give myself a round of applause. I think I'm doing great. Y'all think I'm doing great? Let me know. Y'all think I'm doing great? Let me know. Y'all all right? Everybody comfortable? Huh?
Hey, what's going on, man? Murder Mook, Harlem, you know what it is, man. I just want to express
All right. Now, that was Murder Mook, right? We're going to play him at the end. I got a new young lady that I ran into. I'm going to get her hooked up and let you see a young lady, how she's learning and growing from Unique Mecca Audio. Right now, we're talking about accountability. You know, how did he get here? Now, we can understand Boosie's fear without removing accountability, right? Both truths can stand together. Supervised release creates real pressure. Returning to prison is a serious fear, and past decisions help create the legal position he's in today. A pardon may remove a federal consequence, but it can't erase the choices that made the pardon necessary. Money can hire lawyers. Money can hire lobbyists. Money can purchase access. Money cannot guarantee mercy. That's the lesson, the young brothers and sisters watching this. Don't build your life around believing some powerful person will rescue you later. Don't believe success will erase what you did before the success arrived. Don't believe fame makes you immune from consequences. The smartest pardon is preventing the conviction. The smartest legal strategy is not creating the case. And the cheapest freedom is the freedom you protect before the police, lawyers, judges, and lobbyists become involved. Let's get to the jewel. Accountability means understanding the fear while still recognizing the decisions that invited the fear inside, right? Drop a jewel in the comment so that you could understand what's going on. Can we show Boosie compassion for the pressure he's under while still holding him accountable for how he got there? Now, let's talk about the real meaning of freedom. We're going to ride into that, right? This Boosie story ain't really about $600,000. It ain't even mainly about Donald Trump. And it ain't only about whether some lobbyists return half the money. This story is about a man trying to finally feel free. Not look free, not perform free, not post pictures appearing to be free. I'm talking about free. You know what free feel like? Put that in the comments if you know what free feel like. Free enough to hear a siren without checking the mirror. Free enough to see his lawyers calling without his stomach dropping. Free enough to travel without wondering whether permission was filed. Free enough to make one mistake without his entire history entering the courtroom along with him. Free enough to stop imagining the prison gate opening behind him. That may be what Boosie believed $600,000 could purchase. Not a pardon to hang on a wall. Peace inside his chest. Silence inside his mind. A future that wasn't connected to another federal hearing. But here's the truth. No lobbyist can permanently purchase peace for a man who keeps entering dangerous situations. No pardon can protect someone from every future decision. Real decision also requires discipline. Real freedom requires different surroundings. Real freedom requires recognizing that every argument ain't worth answering. Every location ain't worth entering. And every person ain't worth keeping around you. Some you have to shake. Boosie may be trying to get the government off his back, but the deeper mission has to be keeping himself out of the government's hands. Right or wrong, put that in the comments. Now, real freedom ain't only getting the chains removed. Real freedom is developing the discipline to never give anybody another reason to put them back on. Now, the revocation allegations remain contested. And that's what I want you to understand, right? We're doing the best we can, but before I go, I want to give you a little outro.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Let's go. Let's do 10 controversial questions and answers for y'all, man. Got to give y'all 10 controversial questions and answers. Here we go. All right. So, class, we've been on here 36 minutes. I'm sorry for holding you up, but I did promise y'all 10 controversial questions, and I'm going to give you the answers to them as well, right? Now, all right, man. I got to give y'all these 10 controversial questions. Right? Was Boosie really paying for a pardon, or was he paying to stop being scared? What do you understand from that question, from what you learned in this video? Was Boosie really paying for a pardon, or was he paying to stop being scared? My answer to that is he was paying the peace of mind. The paperwork mattered, but getting that federal pressure off his back mattered more. He wanted to hear a siren without thinking it was coming for him. Sometimes a man ain't buying freedom. He's buying relief from fear. I hope y'all learning something from this video. $600,000, was that too much for Boosie to pay? Put it in the comments. To the average person, yes, but to a man who already knows prison, maybe not. What would you pay to never hear the cell door closed again? Put that in the comments. And you can't measure the price until you understand the fear. Did the lobbyists sell Boosie access, or did they sell him hope? That's the real question. Anybody can promise phone calls. Anybody can mention powerful names. But did they truly have a path to the president? Or did they know Boosie was desperate? Now, hope becomes dangerous when somebody puts a price tag on it, right? Should Donald Trump have pardoned Boosie? Put that in the comment. Do you feel that Donald Trump should have pardoned Boosie? Some people will say yes. They'll say Boosie served time, rebuilt his career, and deserve another chance like Gucci Man. Others will say no. They'll say accountability means living with the consequences. My answer, mercy and accountability can exist in the same conversation. Question for you, Rod. A second chance should never become permission to repeat the first mistake. Now, you get a fifth question. See how we riding over here? Can't really get up out of here. Can Boosie blame the system when his own decisions put him under the supervision? He can criticize the pressure. He can fight allegations. He can defend himself in court, but he still has to acknowledge how he entered the system. You can understand his fear without erasing his responsibility. Now, I'm going to give you a jewel on that. Compassion explains the pressure. Accountability explains how you got there. Now, is supervised release really freedom to you? Do you believe someone serving 30 years and getting out of prison and then being on supervised release for 5 years really freedom? Put that in the comments. I really want to hear from y'all on that. Legally, you're home. Psychologically, it may not feel like that. Somebody's still watching. Somebody can still call you in. Somebody can still ask a judge to send you back. That ain't the same freedom most people experience. And the jewel in that, freedom with conditions can still feel like a cell without walls. Was Boosie more afraid of a new charge or the revocation hearing behind it? Put that in the comments. That's what y'all need to report on, right? I believe the revocation may scare him more. A new charge is one battle. Supervised release can create a second battle behind it. One incident can place two courts in your life. That's double the pressure from one situation. Now, let's get the jewel on that, Rob. One mistake can create two courtrooms when your past is still alive. Does fame make Boosie a target, or does his lifestyle keep him around the trouble? The truth may be both. Famous people attract attention. Police notice them, the public watches them, but fame also gives a man the ability to change his surroundings. At some point, you have to protect yourself from people, places, and situations that you put yourself in. Next jewel, because I'm ready to get up out of here. You can't control every target on your back, but you can control where you carry yourself. Should Boosie get his $300,000 back because they didn't get the part? That's what I need y'all to put in the comments. If the agreement promised results that were never delivered, he may have a legitimate complaint. But if he only paid for lobbying efforts and access, the answer becomes more complicated. Paying for an attempt ain't the same as paying for a guarantee. Last question, one more jewel. Always understand whether you're buying a result or only buying someone's effort. Do you think Boosie knew that he was possibly buying the lobbyist's effort, or that he was buying a guarantee? Can a pardon make Boosie feel free if he doesn't change how he moves? No. A pardon can remove a conviction. It can remove supervision. It can close the legal chapter, but it can't protect him from future choices and entering into new legal chapters. Real peace requires discipline. Real growth means you stop giving the system opportunities to grab you again. Final jewel. The greatest pardon ain't the one a president gives you. It's the one you give yourself when you finally stop repeating the behavior that helps and keeps stealing your freedom. Now, let me look directly at you and talk to you. Now, I want to thank y'all for reporting to class. I hope you have your comment bar and your Quixie pad and all that ready to respond. Now, was Boosie paying to clean his record, or was he paying to finally quit the prison cell, still living inside his mind? Now, this is why I do what I do. All right, this the brother Murder Mook. All right.
Hey, what's going on, man? Murder Mook, Harlem, you know what it is, man. I just want to express how much gratitude I got for Unique. You know what I mean? I was telling him a story, telling him how I felt about, if anything was to go wrong with my career, rap-wise, if, should be slow, and I got so many opportunities to be able to do the wrong shit. When I watch Unique Mecca audio, I feel it, and to my soul, and that's keeping me farthest away from doing anything criminal. Anything criminal. He made me think straight, honestly. Made me think straight. because I've been watching him for about a year, like a year now, maybe. And it just took my mind way off of that. From a year ago, it got rough. For a year ago,
Yeah.
and from watching this man, I just felt like you saved me. You saved me. And I just want to show my gratitude, and I want to say thank you, man. Unique Mecca Audio, anything you need, brother, from me.
All right.
Anything you need, man.
All right.
Look.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. An Instagram page and a YouTube you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca Audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. They be horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend a ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours, so we can give back to the.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime.